going to go ahead and give you all a treat. And I'm going to do this right now. And I am not a singer at all. But it's not about matching the pitches so much. It's about the phrasing that my mouth is going to hopefully create. You know, something like that. But again, thank you. Again, I have no idea how that sounded out there. I couldn't hear it, thank God. But again, I'm not worried about matching pitch at all. I'm just thinking, and you can tell when I stopped listening to myself, because I started going back to my blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. But when I was going, that's a phrase that I may not have played before. You know, it might not, because we all have habits in our hands from our licks that are kind of, I call them pickup licks. When you pick up the guitar, what comes out? Those are your pickup licks. We all have them, you know. It's just that we need more of them, and we constantly need more of them. That's why you got to write licks, because your vocabulary just keeps going like that. But yeah, a quick way out of that is to just sing a little bit, you know, and thinking about how a keyboard player plays or a horn player. Doesn't have to be a lot of different notes. That was 2 notes, maybe 3. Something like that, but that's a horn kind of thing. Yeah, it's a great question, and again, it's a great way to work on your phrasing. Another thing to do is to take any book and just open it up and look at the sentence and read the sentence. Give me a sentence. Dave is very handsome. Thank you. Okay, so Dave is very handsome. Ba-da-ba-da-da-da. You can do something like that. Open up any book or just say something and turn that sentence into a phrase, essentially. That's another good one. Dave is very sexy. All right, well, you know, maybe we'll do something similar. John is giving away guitars. Ba, ba, da, da, ba, da, da, da. And you can contour it. Contour means direction of your playing. You can do anything like that you want. Yeah. Thank you for all agreeing, by the way. I appreciate that. Sorry, you were.
I was going to ask you about your vibrato technique, which is obviously very good. You practice that? Is there certain ways you approach it, or you just have your phrase?
You know, we were talking about this in the car on the way up here, where you see a lot of beginner players go. And it's just out of like either nerves or, again, that's kind of what they have this kind of cloudy picture of what they think pros are doing. If you're B.B. King, he's the one that did it really well, and there's a couple other players, but for the most part, your vibrato is extremely personal. You know, again, how we all can use the same techniques, but that's what it's for. Personality and style. So you might use vibrato different than me, so that's something we have to think about. You might want to think of your favorite singer and listen to them and see what happens. My favorite singers were always like, anybody know Maynard James Keenan from Tool? Up there in my favorite singers of all time. The guy can just belt a note out, solid, no vibrato, and then at the end, he might give it some of this. So I kind of put that into my vibrato. I'll go. I just enjoy doing that because I want to hear that. I can't stand, you know, some of these singers who every note is, you know, what's her head that did the national anthem? Fergie, yeah. No, come on. You know, but everybody's different. Everybody's got different tastes for what their vibrato should be. So it was an idea first. I said, what do I want my vibrato to be like? And I tried you got to try all sorts of different stuff. Experience makes you know, plain and simple, you know? So, like Steve Vai, again, I bring him up because I work with him for a really long time, so I know his technique very well. His vibrato is both your standard and also what is called violin. You hear that? That's a different kind of thing. He puts it together, and he does this. His wife must love him, sorry. But you get that, and that's pretty cool. Try that. Most people have never tried that, but it's a really cool kind of thing, because you're getting a little bit of that actual vibrato. By the way, can somebody please tell me why this is called a trem? By definition, this is a pet peeve of mine. I rant on it all the time on the internet like an idiot, because you're not going to get any good answers. But that, by definition, pitch bend is vibrato. Tremolo is volume difference. Right, so think of like a Fender Twin or any amp that's got a tremolo in it. It goes, that's tremolo. This is vibrato. Anyway, sorry. Because what we're doing here with technique is also the same thing, pitch bend. So you get a little bit of this pitch bend, but also this really cool, I don't even know what to call it, texture? I mean, that's cool. I keep messing it up, sorry. Yeah, try that. Give that one a try. But you got to try them all out. Some people like Paul Gilbert. You remember Blue Saraceno? Right? His vibrato, I mean, he had this great, crazy wide vibrato. Paul Gilbert did as well. You know, of course, they have all sorts of different kinds. I'm trying to think of some other like very famous vibratos, but.
Do you have any suggestions on how to develop that technique?
The vibrato?
I can do violin vibrato. But
Okay.
I cannot do this.
You know, again, technique is the easiest part of guitar. It really is. And why? Because, like I said earlier, you can play anything you want right now. You just have to get this out of the way. You have to accept that this is going to take a lot of time. Guitar's hard. It's not that easy, you know? It takes time and patience and consistency. But once we accept that, then therein lies the comfort. Trust that process, as I said, and know that if you just do this a little bit every day, infallibly, it's impossible for you not to progress. It's just going to happen. You're going to keep going. But every time I hear somebody say, oh, I'm not getting any better, I was like, all right, let's clear out the BS. How much time are you actually putting into this? And it turns out to not be a lot. Or it might be like 8 hours one day, and then not another 8 hours until it's a week later. So think about that. If I went into a gym today and worked out for 8 hours, first of all, I'd be on the floor for the next week. But am I gonna really, get fit by working out one day a week, even if it's for 8 hours? No, it's not consistent enough. You're not getting back there. You're not keeping your mind, you're not keeping it in the front of your mind, front of your mouth, front of your hands, etc., right? So go, just take everything away except the absolute basic mechanics of it. So that means let's just start with one note very slowly. And what do? What is vibrato? You wiggle your finger up and down to try and, because again, what's the definition? It's pitch bend. So that's what we're trying to do. But it's not like if we're trying to hit this E, we're not trying to go to actually hit another note. We're just trying to give it a little bit of really modulation, like a chorus pedal almost. So, and it's not this, it's this. Watch anybody. It's not, I can't even do it. I can't even keep my wrist still and try and do this with my finger. That's why I'm single. It's the wrist. So think about that as well. Again, most of the time, technique is not taught well because the mechanics are not understood enough. Break it down to the absolute basic mechanics, and you will get it. It's this. Just put your finger down. Just think about, at first, big moves. It's just this. And then you can decide, do you want that? Push a little harder if you want it a little bit more radical, or even less, just for that little tiny bit on it, and that's great. There's nobody that can say one is better than the other. It's a style thing. You know, your personality is yours. I do recommend doing it over music. Everything I always do is over, you know, again, one of these tracks. This is in C, so I'll take a C. Now, if you did this without the track, you might be getting good at it, but you don't know, because the only thing that matters with a musical instrument is, can you make music? Take it up to the G. Oh, stop it. That's your focus. So everything I'm doing, I'm letting myself pause and just say, where's my vibrato on this string, up at this part of the fretboard. Might feel differently, will feel differently than down here. So do it up here or here. But the mechanics, they're not changing, you know, and that goes for anything. Again, any mechanic.